Kyle Dubas said some stuff, let's all overreact. The other day, Kyle Dubas went into his closet and he pulled out a sensible navy blue cardigan and he put on his thick frame glasses and he went on a little media tour. He spoke to folks at a few different outlets, but the one I had my eye on the most was his 18-minute interview with Tim and Sid. I'm sure you've heard of them. One's bald, the other's Sid, and that whole 18-minute interview is up on Sportsnet's YouTube channel, but you can watch that after this. This is my reaction to what Dubas said during that interview. Tim and Sid start by buttering him up, asking him about his off-season, stuff like that, wrestling, tease the fact that they kind of had to begrudgingly get into the Marner conversation. And they started in a way that I thought was pretty smart. It's, are you tired of talking about the Mitch Marner thing? Whenever you watch your GM speak, or at least when I do anyway, and there's a big situation going on, like the Mitch Marner thing, obviously, I watch him talk and I'm like, okay, am I gonna feel better after this or worse? By the end of it, I was somewhere in the middle, but Dubas's handling of this question gave me pause. Because he didn't sound at all like a guy who was tired of talking about it. I think if you sound flustered by it, if you're tired of getting the question over and over again about one of the team's most important pieces, you sound defeated by it. You sound like it's getting the better of you. And Dubas doesn't sound that way at all in this interview. He sounds energized, excited, mid-season form. He knows this is the job. If he didn't want to answer questions like this, he wouldn't have taken it. And the thing he said that gave me the most pause, and it's right at the beginning, is Mitch Marner is a good person, not player, person, and he does a lot in the community. Now, to be clear, that doesn't change how I feel about the contract situation. I wasn't like, oh, he's a great guy, give him $11 million. Or the rumored 9 or 9.5 for only 3 years, whatever that Frankenstein of a contract rumor. Ugh, please don't. But what it reminded me of, beyond watching hockey highlights, I've done enough of that this offseason, I always do, but I don't quite know how to word this, but it reminded me that, like, I cheer for Mitch Marner. Like, primarily I cheer for the Leafs, right? They're my team. They're my team. I grew up watching them, so did Mitch. And that's not a great reason to like a player, but it's a bit of a reason you like that player. And a lot has been said throughout these contract negotiations, and I'm guilty of it too, but it was sort of a reminder like, wait, no, we're on this guy's side. I think what sucks about it is we're caught in the middle because we're on Mitch Marner's side because he's a Leaf, and we're on the Leafs side because they're the Leafs. And just sort of taking a step back from all the numbers, the years, the dollar amount, taking a step back from all that and just reminding everyone that, hey, we actually like Mitch Marner. We think he's a pretty swell guy. It made me optimistic that it'll get done. Like, it's not a war. It's not a fight. It's not a battle. It's just a negotiation, like any other. Are the tactics all awesome? No, not in my opinion. But this is a normal thing that happens all the time with every single team in the league. Now, Leaf fans have been subjected to a lot of it over the last year and a bit, and we're at our wits' end. But once this is done, we can actually sit back and enjoy the team for a little bit. That or worry about the fact that there's no defenseman signed for next year. Anyway, after that, Dubas is asked if he and Marner are closer than they were at the beginning of the summer. And this is where you see that while Kyle Dubas has many original ideas of his own, he still went to Lou Lamoriello University. It is a non-answer of non-answers. But what did this all start with, right? It was the three guys. It was Matthews, Nylander, and Marner, not knowing what order it was going to be in. And when he first became Leafs GM, I think he was actually in the building at Rogers when he said it. We can and we will, when asked, how are you going to sign all these guys? Well, he can't get in there and say, yes, we're close, and give people all this hope, and then training camp comes around and he's not there, and exhibition games start and he's not there, and the regular season starts and he's not there. It makes no sense. Then Sid Cicero says, are you 100% optimistic that Mitch Marner will be in the opening night lineup? And Dubas did not sound optimistic. Oh, the words he said were that he's optimistic, but Now, what I did think was interesting deep in his answer is he brought up William Nylander and missing training camp, missing 2 months of the season, and the impact that that had on his season. Because I think it's funny, I've heard a few people go, well, if there's anything that the Nylander negotiation taught us, it's that all Mitch Marner's got to do is sit and he'll get his money. That's the only thing you took from that saga? That if you sit for 2 months for like a couple $100,000 grand and completely torpedo your season, you'll get what you want? Listen, I think Willie's gonna have a good season, and I think his contract's gonna end up being good. Last season was awful! I'm a big believer in analytics. I'm a big deep dive hockey stats guy. I like seeing who makes their team better, who makes their team worse, and it turns out William Nylander makes his team way better. But at some point, it's been a while, Willie, and put the puck in the red thing with the mesh on it! I'm interested to see how much the Leafs use William Nylander as a comparable heading into camp. Because admittedly, I came into the summer thinking that Mitch Marner was going to get treated completely differently from William Nylander in terms of public perception. Because Nylander was harped on and slandered the whole time, and he's this spoiled brat, and I thought that Mitch Marner was going to get the open the bank vault treatment. Give this guy whatever he wants. Mitch Marner's taken a way bigger PR hit than I ever expected this summer, and then marrying his name to William Nylander, I can't imagine would help with a lot of fans. But that's all conspiracy theory. The main thing that I got from this is Dubas bringing up the very true fact that missing the first 2 months of the season is not great. Dubas was also asked about all the other restricted free agents around the league. He was asked about offer sheets, which I thought was great. He very politely farted on them. And he had his sensible glasses on, and he talked about them in a very calm way with his Mona Lisa smile and sensible cardigan, and pulled out his chart and farted right on offer sheets with his fart chart. Another thing that has been made into something for bizarre reasons are the Zurich Lions. The Zurich Lions, of course, are a Swiss League team. They had Austin Matthews for an entire season when he was coached by Mark Crawford. More recently, that team is famous because supposedly Mitch Marner is going to go to Europe and he's going to train with them. What? What do you mean that he signed with them? Whoa, wait, I don't think we said that. Yes, you did! Mitch Marner's going to sign in Switzerland! Ah! No. Jesse Puljujärvi signed in Finland. Jesse Puljujärvi is playing in Finland. Mikko Rantanen is training in Norway. Last year, William Nylander trained in Austria. Mitch Marner might train in Switzerland. Now, the reason we're all freaking out about this is because of Mitch Marner's agent, Darren Ferris. This is hilariously consistent in his playbook. My client is going to Europe, and we all said, yeah, I bet. And then he actually had it go out there that Mitch Marner might go to Zurich. Much like with the Toronto Maple Leafs, Mitch Marner does not have a contract signed with the Zurich Lions. Everyone chill. So when this clip got out there, when Dubas basically said he's not worried about the Zurich Lions, everyone was like, oh! When really it was, well, he's not worried about them because why would he be? And the last one that I really wanted to talk about was the topic of captaincy. This is another one he wasn't really committal on, but when you really listen to what he said, when you listen to his tone, I'm pretty sure the Leafs are going to have a captain this season. He talked about Dion Phaneuf being captain and how, you know, even though it's the C on your chest, it seems ceremonial. It's not. It's not. More is expected of you. And that last season, there were times during the season where he wondered, should we have a captain right now? Would this situation be easier to deal with if we had a captain right now? But the usual stuff about making sure they make the right decision, taking their time, having John Tavares jump into the team, and he was a former captain, and seeing how he got acclimatized to it all. But to me, if he's thinking about having a captain, and the Leafs are going to have a captain, and they're taking so much time to name a captain, the captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs is going to be Austin Matthews. That's what I took from it. Could it be Morgan Rielly? It could. It could. Could it be John Tavares? It could. I think it could. But I think this team changed the day that they drafted Austin Matthews. On the ice, off the ice, everything changed. And now he is an elite player in this league. They want to make sure he's ready. He's ready. You see the mustache? That's a leadership mustache! But that is what I thought about Kyle Dubas' interview on Timmins Hit. What did you think of it? And if you haven't seen it, I'm going to link to it on the end screen here. Highly recommend you check it out. It's 18 minutes long, and it is well worth it. It is not just a bunch of lip service, which you often get around this time of year. That is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell all your friends. My book, This Team is Ruining My Life, is still available everywhere the books are sold, at least within Canada anyway. And more importantly, the thing that I'm really working on right now, celebrityhockeyclassics.com. I'm going to be playing hockey in the Eric Lindros Celebrity Hockey Classic in mid-November. I'm raising money for Easter Seals. That is a charity that raises funds for kids with physical disabilities. If you can donate, please do. I'll put that in the link down below.